Many times when we think of God speaking to his servants in the Bible, we're quick to imagine his voice sounding terrific, with thunder, blazing fire, and much more. But are we just being over-creative, or is this really how God speaks? What does God sound like? How do I hear God's voice, we ask? Is the issue our spiritual immaturity? Or is it that we unconsciously expect God to speak in a particular way? What if I told you that you've been hearing God's voice all this while? You just haven't realized it? Sometimes we forget that to the person who has accepted Christ, God is not just our master but also our Father. Hearing our Father's voice shouldn't then be hard, should it? John's Gospel shows us what transpired during one of Jesus' sermons as he prayed. Then came there a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. The people, therefore, that stood by and heard it said that it thundered. Others said, an angel spoke to him. Surprisingly, the scripture goes further to say, this voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Jesus himself wasn't moved by this sovereign act of God speaking so tangibly, for he knew the Father's will. Whether or not it sounded spectacular. We see something similar happen with Elijah, where the earth quaked, fire and wind stormed, but he could still tell God wasn't in it. This scripture lets us know that irrespective of how spectacular God may speak, what matters more is being able to discern and know when he is the one speaking, not our situations or the thunder, as they thought. This clearly places knowing God first before attempting to know his voice. So what then does God sound like? He doesn't sound strange. He sounds like the still, small voice you become familiar with as you get to know him. Therefore, we must know God's person first as a father, and then knowing his voice as his child becomes automatic. Stay with the scriptures, stay in prayer, obey his word, and it will become easy for you to know his voice. My sheep hear my voice and heed, Jesus said. You're his sheep, you can hear him.